The poetic moment is a moment that many of the short, readable poems that we will be dealing with are built around. And these poems are meant to reflect something important about life that the poet sees or comes to realize. It's that experience of perhaps walking, for example, into a root cellar and recognizing something, recognizing that the physical structure of this place and also the movement of the event, the experience is is rich. It's rich. Okay. I'm going to put some things on the board here. Now, what I mean by rich is that it's fertile. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. The separation of light and dark when you walk into that root cellar, the movement from up to down, the experience of airflow and a certain smell of the outdoors or of a lived space versus the cramped soil smell of this type of basement. A root cellar is often well in older days was unfinished, and that is to say just a hole in the ground on top of which a house is built, and you have a stairway. And then you might have some shelving, but it's really to preserve the canned fruit and the dried fruit and the potatoes and the pumpkins and the melons that would take a family through the winter. So now in our modern age, we I doubt very many people at all have actually walked into a root cellar. Now, of course, I'm talking about Theodore Redke's poem "The Root Cellar," which you've read or are going to read soon. And I want you to think with me though about the real life experience um, of someone actually walking into that cellar and being hit by this notion that, hey, there's a lot going on here. I can write a poem about it. Okay, I can write a poem about this. So very many of the poems that we're going to use here that you're going to read are not poems that came about because someone decided, it'd be nice to be a poet. I think I should try my hand at that. Maybe they like doing crossword puzzles. They have a big vocabulary. They like words, and all of a sudden they decide to be a poet. And and then they write a poem, and they think of something, and they think of how it might work, and that's really not how I believe. I don't think that's how these poems were written. I think that when you go that route, it becomes artificial. It becomes many times there is a push. When you have written a few successful poems to write more, people want more. Or if you want to put together a collection, it's like music. If you want to put together a collection, you need a certain number. Okay, a certain number for that collection, and then you start making songs that didn't come to you the right way, and you're using your cleverness and also techniques, tricks of the trade. It could be all sorts of things that you could do to get some sort of passable music written or passable poetry to fill out a collection so that you can actually print a thing and it can be bound. I mean, you realize if you want to put a spine on something as a book, you have to have a certain amount of pages. If you've written one or two great poems and now somebody wants to produce a book of poetry with you, they might say, well, I need 20 more. I need 20 more poems. And then you're like, well, I guess I better go write 18 more. And then you're not depending on the moment. See, the moment picks its own time to come to you. Okay. So it's going to be a rich moment, but it's also going to be, it can't be fabricated. It has to be what I'm going to say, organic. Okay. Now, what do I mean by organic? What I mean is, anything that's organic means it has life. And if you have life in something like an animal, a human being, You can't control that. The life force has its own timetable. Okay. Now, by extension, we use that word to mean any sort of natural, uh, event or meeting or saying, any sort of, like, if you're reading a book, or you're having a conversation, if you're having a conversation with someone and you all are actually laughing about what you're talking about, and you know in your heart you feel at ease, you feel comfortable, feels great. That's organic. That's natural. That humor was built into the fabric of the conversation. It came about in at the right time, at the right moment, naturally. You see what I'm saying? So you might want to think of organic being naturally. Whatever. The point is, it's not. You can't just, like, it's not something you can do on command and do it well. It can't be artificial. It can't be. So happiness that's organic is the real deal, right? Happiness that is not organic is when someone sort of puts on a show when they go into a room, or when they are in a relationship or in a conversation, and they pretend to be happy, or they put on their smiling face, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they're not. So organic friendship is the real deal. It's not forced. It's not strained. It's not scheduled. It just happens. It just happens. One of the weirdest experiences you're ever going to have, if you ever have this, is an inorganic relationship. You're in a relationship with someone that it just feels strained. It feels forced. It feels like both of you are trying too hard. It's not organic. It's not natural. So the poetic moment is going to be rich. It's going to be full of this potential symbolism, full of this echoes of other meaningful things in it. Okay. And it's going to be organic, which means it's very, very, very hard to write poetry just sitting in a chair thinking about writing poetry. You have to go and have experiences. You have to take risks. You have to get out in the world and move, and you have to you have to see things. You have to see what moves you, and then you have to be willing to have your emotions engaged with this. All right. So it's rich, it's organic. Okay. And often it's connected to the real life, and it's you are in an event, you're in a situation, and all of a sudden you realize there is something important going on here that I can craft a picture around. um, I can build a memory around. I want to think about this. I can build. It lends itself to artistic representation. Whether it's going to be it could be a scene for a movie. It could be um, part of a story. It could be a poem. It could be a song. You could write a song about it. All right. So the true poetic moment, okay, is going to be, um, how would I say this? Cross category. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that up here. And what do I mean by cross category? Is the moment itself is a realization that something important right now is happening in a way that makes you resonate in a deeper way with life, or with a certain aspect of life. It makes you connect with an emotion or a thought or a concept in a very powerful way. It's powerful. Okay. And once you get that sense that there is something that this event, this meeting, this experience has started something echoing inside of you. There is going to be an urge, if once you develop your literary skills, to take that and to not let it slip away, to at least turn it into a memory. But more than that, to think about it. It's not going to leave you very easily, but there is a sense that if you don't work with this and take care of this, you might not see its full potential. That one raw moment can now be the anchor or the center around which you build a beautiful sculpture, or you write a beautiful song, or you do a short film about that, or you do a short story about it, or you do a poem about it, or you do a painting. It could be a painting. So paintings are driven by the poetic moment. Um, Pictures, photos, not just the photos everyone takes. To some extent, it's kind of like that, but the ones that are accepted as art, the ones that are trying to go beyond just being a photograph, but to be art, that they are working with the poetic moment. So I want you to realize something here. If you look at the etymology of the word poem, okay, what I mean is etymology is look at the word history, look it up online, and look at the roots, the root of the word. The Greek root is going to talk to you about um, creating. Okay, the word poem is really a created thing. It's not lines on a page that rhyme. That's how we use it now in our English language and in our modern languages. But classically, if you push it all the way back to its word root, you see that it's much broader than words on a page. It's a technical art. It's the artistic work, if you will. So I would encourage you to do that. And the poems that we use here, I want you to see how many of them revolve around this one event that the poet met on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday, or I don't know, some point in their life, a real event, and it causes them, or a real thing, like a real realization. I mean, you might be sitting looking at somebody, and then you might finally realize, how bizarre the human body is. We got one arm that ends in five like little forks or whatever. We got this thing here with like 7 holes in it. 7 holes in your head. Got the stuff growing on top. And these, what in the world is this? I mean, there's a point where it's just like, and then you got these hard things inside one of your. It's bizarre. I mean, it really is bizarre. The nose is bizarre. Just the nose is. What in the world, And we are so used to it now that there are many people we think are beautiful when we look at their face. But part of the bizarreness of it is like we've lost it. But if you realize all of a sudden about the eyes, that the human eyes are pointing forward, and we don't have eyes on the side that allow us to see the whole or two sides of something. We have only eyes that are able to look down a tunnel, if you will, focused on any one point. Not like the fish, who has eyes on both sides and can see this side and that side. And if they float sideways, they can see the light and the dark of the sea. And they can never shoot a gun because they could never aim it. All right, forget the hands. I'm just. What about the eyes of a fly? I mean, think of the helmet optics that they have, and so there's actually a poem that called Teleology that is a very powerful poem about the eyes. And so there's a sense where sometimes the poetic moment just hits you when you all of a sudden realize something again for kind of like the first time, and it's sort of a surprise. Okay, it's rich, it's organic, it's cross category. I'm going to add one more. Okay, it's powerful. Okay. Now I'm going to contrast this with rich, because when I said rich there, it just is you can do a lot with it. There's a lot of symbolism there. There's a lot of ways you can work that. But when I say powerful here is all of a sudden this thing is almost a living realization, a living idea, if you will, that strikes you. It just seems to come out of nowhere. It's got this power to it. You don't think your way into a poetic moment. You meet it. You don't create it. Now, after from the moment, you can create the poem, but you you can't control this thing. You can't make it work according to your own terms. The best thing you could do is to desire it, to read poetry, but also to watch a ton of movies, to listen to a lot of podcasts, to listen to a lot of music, to read as much as you can, to watch as much good streaming material as you can. I would highly recommend movies, to look at art, to look at painting, and then also to get out and live life, be with people. If you struggle to be with people, then say, I'm doing it for my artistic sense. I'm going to go and see what it feels like to have a conversation with someone. Now, it might be terribly awkward, but I'll analyze that. Or it might actually flow right. I'm going to analyze that. I'm going to go and I'm going to try to meet someone new today because, and you might be, well, I don't know. I mean, we're all on a different points here, but some people it's very easy to meet other people. For some people, it's not so easy. But I don't think you're going to be writing good poetry or being able to read good poetry and understand it if you don't get out there and interact with people. Poetry, at the end of the day, is about humanity. It's about what makes us human. It's about love in a very broad way, with all the different facets that word involves. Okay, now you might be, oh, no, it isn't. No, well, if you think about it, it's about things that create a sense of impact in us when we read this, whatever it is. And if it moves us, the question would be, why did it move you? And if you push that question back enough, I think you're going to hit one of the core drivers of what it means to be human, of a human. And if you might say, well, maybe the driver is fear. Yeah, but you're never afraid of losing that which you don't love. Okay, so fear is ironically and in some bizarre, grotesque way wrapped up in the definition of love. So and this is probably a discussion later on, but you cannot, it's powerful in its own right. You cannot just fabricate this. You have to be willing to prepare yourself for it, but then you have to go and you have to interact with people. I truly believe that. And if that does not come organically for you or naturally for you, then tell yourself, I'm doing it because I want to become a better artist. I need to go learn about people. I need to learn what this feels like. I need to go visit a coffee shop. I need to visit a restaurant. I need to go to a party. I need to, because if nothing else, just to say that you're trying to do, research on your poems, your poetry or whatnot. It'll make you a better reader. If you're not interested in writing poetry, that's okay. But it will make you a better. You can interact with the poetic moment, and it can make you richer in terms of your internal experience, your interior spaces. You don't have to use it to create anything. Now, obviously, the poetry we're reading is a result of someone creating something from the poetic moment, but the poetic moment is still powerful and waiting for you. What you do with it once you meet it is up to you, but it can make you more of a philosophical person. It can make you more of an empathetic person. It can make you more of a wiser and softer person. So a stronger person. So just interacting with the moment and the poetic moment and not doing anything with it afterwards is still worth it, But you need to prepare yourself for it by seeing it developed in great film, great stories, great audiobooks, great poems, great the art, great paintings, okay? And then you need to also realize that all of this is revolving around the kiwatas, the community, the group, the people group. And go and be with people, and then explore also the scenery and the world, right? Have experiences. And then I think those two together will really help you understand that, hey, I know I went long here. I appreciate your attention. Thank you for watching.